Yeah, it's people like you that's going to change this around for us in this country.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Norris, for coming out here and supporting him and supporting
you bet.
But before you guys start posting tribute posts, videos, what have you, you should know that Chuck Norris was a Trump supporter. He endorsed him back in 2016. He even supported him in 2020 and 2024. That's why you don't see me posting rest in peace, Chuck Norris. The guy was a bigot.
Okay, so martial arts legend Chuck Norris has passed away at the age of 86, and you do not need to feel bad for him. A lot of people don't know this, but Chuck Norris was actually an icon in the Republican space, and he did advocate for conservative values and even wrote conservative editorial. Chuck Norris endorsed Donald Trump in 2016, in 2020, and again in 2024 after he already tried to overthrow the government. He also endorsed Mike Huckabee, who is a Zionist and the current ambassador to Israel. Mike Huckabee has said that he wants Israel to steal other countries that are nearby so that it could unlock the Armageddon where Jesus vaporizes all of us. He also denies the Shmenocide in Palestine as well. And Chuck Norris, like a lot of actors, started off as more progressive, but in his older age decided to abandon all his values and be conservative instead. He was one of those, oh, I used to be a Democrat, but they just went too far. But somehow the Republican Party being overrun by PDF files, that wasn't too far for him, at least. And somebody watching this video is probably thinking like, wow, bro, like just because he was a Republican, you're going to mock him now that he's gone. His body's not even cold yet. And I want to state for the record that if he was just a Trump supporter, I'd be like, all right, like you're allowed to be stupid. I don't think that I need to make a video about you. But here's the thing, like he was a political operative for a fascist government, okay? All those little Chuck Norris memes are being flipped against us because people are like, oh, Chuck Norris is cool. I'll vote for whoever Chuck Norris said. Now look at us. We got a war in the Middle East. The economy is crashing, and it's all because of Chuck Norris's political beliefs. If you're less than like 45 years old, the only reason why you know Chuck Norris is because of the memes, and those were not created by him. They were created by the internet. He's not Jackie Chan, he's scumbag Steve.
So Chuck Norris has died at the age of 86, and a lot of people are mourning Chuck Norris currently, but I do want to be a reminder that Chuck Norris is cool with Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu goes on to say, Sarah and I were deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Chuck Norris, a great friend of Israel and a close personal friend. Chuck brought martial arts and the warmth of his character to millions around the world. May his memory be a blessing. And if you don't believe me, let me show you guys a clip of him endorsing Benjamin Netanyahu way back in 2015.
I'm Chuck Norris, and I would like to say hello to all my friends in Israel. I watched Prime Minister Netanyahu's speech before Congress and saw a man who loves his country with all his heart and soul. I also saw a strong leader, which is absolutely crucial for the safety of the Israeli people. I have done 3 movies in Israel, Delta Force being my favorite, and I formed many friendships while there. You have an incredible country, and we want to keep it that way.
So mourn Chuck Norris if you want. Just know he was good friends with Benjamin Netanyahu.
I thought Chuck Norris wanted to talk about this guy used his fame to damage America and really represented MAGA far before MAGA ever was a thing. Chuck Norris was one of the first people with any amount of fame to support California Proposition 8, which sought to ban same-sex marriage. Chuck Norris, who was a big fan of Ronald Reagan, loved his faith, right? Wrote an article for townhall.com on November 18th, 2008 called If Democracy Doesn't Work, Try Anarchy. And I quote, the days of peaceful marches such as those headed up by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. seem to be long gone. The truth is that the great majority of Prop 8 advocates are not bigots or hate mongers. They're American citizens who are following 5,000 years of human history. 5,000 years, might want to fact check that there, Chuck. And the belief of every major people and religion. Marriage is a sacred union between a man and a woman. Their Prop 8 votes weren't intended to deprive any group of its rights. They were safeguarding their honest convictions regarding the boundaries of marriage. Chuck knew a whole lot about the boundaries of marriage, right? Because he cheated on his first wife, which resulted in a child. And then he's talking about these are the boundaries of marriage, the sanctity of marriage, right? When he wants to deprive other people of their rights. Chuck was also a very loud and proud Christian, right? Allegedly. In 2016, when he endorsed Donald Trump, here are some of the reasons reasons he gave for that. He said Trump is sincere. He met him once 42 years ago, said, quote, "I haven't seen or spoken to him since. However, I'll tell you, I liked him. He was very friendly and sincere."
I'm going to be the too woke wet blanket. I don't want to hear Chuck Norris facts. In case you haven't heard, Chuck Norris just died, and Chuck Norris was also a notorious far-right conservative. Chuck was also, obviously, a diehard Trump supporter. He was very much a MAGA. He was also very famously anti-LGBT to the point where he ran a campaign to oppose the Boy Scouts allowing gay people to be members. Chuck and his wife also made a PSA stating that if you voted for Obama, you were ushering in 1,000 years of darkness. Also considers Ronald Reagan to be the best president that we ever had. Now, he did say that he used to be a Democrat and they just went too far left, and Republicans represent the values that he grew up with. And just for clarity, Chuck Norris grew up when Democrats were the conservative party who opposed civil rights. So yeah, miss me with your Chuck Norris facts bullshit.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. You can't make this stuff up, right? You can't make this stuff up. The left has no bottom. They have no bottom, right? We saw what they did after Hulk Hogan died, right? And they're basically going to do the same thing to Chuck Norris when they find out that, oh, Chuck Norris supported stuff that we don't agree with, right? He had political viewpoints that we don't agree with. Oh, now all of a sudden, screw that guy, right? That's what they're going to do, okay? It's really shameful stuff. Like, for example, this post right here. Just found out that Chuck Norris is actually a raging Zionist. Free Palestine and rest in peace. This person, I don't give a F. Chuck Norris died. One less Trumper. This woman, Michelle Thomas, had posted, Chuck Norris isn't supposed to die. Oh my God. And then she says, I've been presented new information. Prayers down. Amazing. Now, what was that new information? Well, he supported Israel. Oh, he supported Trump. Therefore, I don't like the guy. Right? Amazing. Absolutely amazing stuff. This person says, I was sorry to learn this morning that Chuck Norris has passed away. Having competed in martial arts for years as a kid and a teen, I always appreciated Norris. Then I heard he was a staunch conservative and a huge supporter of Mike Huckabee. I won't miss him much anymore. Shameful stuff. This is how I found out he was actually a huge Zionist bigot. Yeah, so a lot of people are finding out that Chuck Norris had political opinions that they disagree with following his death, because that's what they do. Okay, when somebody dies, the first thing that leftists do is that they look up their political opinions to say, hey, did this person believe the right thing before I decide how I feel about this? And now they're trying to smear Chuck Norris the same way that they did with Hulk Hogan. Okay, it's really shameful stuff. Regardless, Chuck Norris was a hero, right? He was a great actor, great martial artist. He was definitely somebody that I looked up to as a kid, watching a lot of his movies, watching his shows. The dude was a badass. He really was. He was an icon. And I think that that's how most regular, normal people are going to remember Chuck Norris. They're not going to care about his political opinions. They're not going to care whether or not he supported Israel. They're going to remember him for who he was, what he did, the impact that he had on American culture, on film. For somebody like myself, certainly a positive impact. And I think that's ultimately what his legacy will be.